This is how podcasting has really changed my life. And I know it can happen for you as well. Hey everyone, this is Fei Wu and welcome to my channel. This channel is all about helping independent creators live their creative and financial freedom. And today I want to talk about one thing, which is, how podcasting has changed my life and how it can change yours as well. Whether you're a podcaster who's struggling to get new listeners, working on downloads, or you're trying to figure out advertising, how to make money with your show. Doesn't matter. You have a single episode, or if you have 100 or 200 episodes, maybe you're just thinking about an idea right now. I want to be with you and talk about the learnings I've had in the past nearly 5 years. So the number one thing that people don't often talk about because of your podcast that you're able to learn from everyone. So literally, you could just reach out to people you want to interview, no matter how famous, how recognized they are, and they could be the most famous person in your niche, even in the world of marketing. As you guys know, I'm a big fan of Seth Godin, and he has appeared in our docuseries last year. This is something I don't think I could ever imagine happening when I started the show in 2014. And guess what? Seth Godin isn't alone in all of this. He's a great example of someone who actually wants to make sure, just like other famous people, that you have your show running for 30, 40 episodes before they decide to appear on your show. If you're starting out, you probably don't know the stats that most of the shows stop producing after the 7th or sometimes the 10th episode, which means the podcaster is no longer paying for hosting service and, your conversation, your interview would never be heard. But the ability to learn from anyone is quite phenomenal. And one example that came to mind is when I interviewed Will Collins, who's a writer from this phenomenal Irish animation called Song of the Sea. If you haven't checked it out, please make sure that you do. I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon Prime, possibly on Netflix these days. I watched the movie. I remember I was in the middle of something, probably, trying to produce a video or try to record a podcast. And, my partner was watching TV in the next room over, and I heard the song. I ran over there. It was this animation, but I thought it was for little kids, but it was so engaging, so emotionally engaging. So I stuck around. Actually, I thought it was very unproductive that day. But on the other hand, at the end of the movie, I saw Will Collins. I thought, wouldn't it be phenomenal for me to talk to a writer from that movie? That is quite incredible. Learn from everyone. The second thing I want to talk about is write better. Unfortunately, we spent so many years in school trying to learn how to write. I grew up in Beijing, China, and I moved to the States when I was 17. But many of you guys know the same thing. You took creative writing lessons and, English lesson continue all the way through college. But as soon as we enter the real world as a professional, we ended up writing emails and emails only. And there are courses and there are, YouTube videos on how to write better emails, or use the right words, and how to even sometimes trick people into doing what you need them to do. That's not writing. Unfortunately, I had lost in so many of us. When I started podcasting, I realized that I needed to know and learn how to write again, starting with a catchy title for the blog post for the interview, and also the body of the blog post itself. That was a really big challenge. I remember just for me being English as my second language, I was struggling quite a bit as a 30-year-old, and that's when I started the show. I got better over time. I was really nervous. I literally thought when I published something, probably the whole world would be laughing at me. But they didn't. They were very supportive, and there are people even sent me feedback on, things I could improve for blogging and such. And I got addicted over time. I couldn't stop writing. I found myself writing until 1 or 2 in the morning. It was such a meditative process almost, when you have some stories to share, and not just with a guest, but as a podcaster. I hope as you mature over time, there are stories you want to share from yourself, from the bottom of your heart with your audience. And I think that's why I started this channel, really, because I want to connect with people who watch the video, people who listen to the podcast in a more personable way. Yeah, the third thing about starting a podcast that really transformed my life is I think I became a little bit smarter, or a lot smarter. As someone I interviewed on the show, John Haggerty, who is a Broadway, on and off Broadway actor, actually asked me, like, Faye, do you think you've gotten smarter since you started the show? And he immediately answered that question for me. He said, absolutely, because, within the first 10 episodes, we interview Christina Reed, who's an Oscar nominated and winning producer for Big Hero 6 and a bunch of other Disney movies. We interviewed John Haggerty, who's a Broadway actor. We interviewed Barry Alexander, who's a consultant and head of Alexander Bono International. The list actually expanded very drastically. And today we have over 210 episodes with interviews from people from all walks of life. So what I love about this journey for me so far is, as an independent creator, I demanded who I wanted to learn from. And no, it wasn't just from a profession I was already familiar with, marketing, agency, advertising. No, I actually refused to learn exclusively from those people. I hand selected, half a dozen of them I loved working with, and that was it. And I quickly expanded to, Cirque du Soleil, different circuses. Cirque du Soleil's Circus 1903, Machine the Cirque. Even within the circus world, we invited so many people. A lot of authors, Dory Clark being one of them, Steven Shapiro, Seth Godin. It was incredible. And when I interviewed them, they were so open about what they have learned, how they succeeded, how they have failed, and all the resources and tools and links and people they mentioned. They're all on Feisworld.com under my blog post. And I will take this opportunity, future videos, to kind of break that down and really surface that to the top. So that leads us to the fourth thing I actually just mentioned, is about cross-domain learning. And that is so important. Many of us are stuck in our professional life working for a single company still 20, 30 years. You end up learning from people who are just close to you by proximity. You learn from some of the clients, some of the colleagues you may or may not agree with, and that's it. Everything, all the business jargons from your business world. And some of you probably haven't even noticed that when you step out of the world, when you even come home, talk to your kids, your spouse, your friends outside of work, people are like, what are you talking about? You're using language so specific to work and you're proud of it, but you actually are losing quote unquote audience. I find that these days, because of the interviews that I've conducted and people that I have interviewed, I developed a lot more empathy. People will ask me straight up, like, Faye, what does it even mean? What does the word that you said actually means? And I'll ask them the same questions. I didn't know any of that stuff. So it was so fascinating to be involved with people that they are experts, right? So that's why I love talking to independent creators. I think some of them are probably watching the video right now. Make friends with extraordinary people. Make friends. People are approaching you and you're reaching out to more people. Your network expands rapidly. And, when I travel by myself, with my partner, with people who work with me in the business, these people I interview on the show for 40 minutes, an hour, they open their doors, they open their homes to us. We stay with them. We watch their kids running around. We watch their children grow up. You can support each other in different ways that you might not even imagine. So after you're done with the interview with your guests, reach out, stay in touch, not just through social media. Yes, social media, but send an email, give them a call, go see them in a show again, really start that authentic connection, not just thinking about working in a business. Of course, there are other opportunities that are monetary, but developing that authentic connection can lead to so many opportunities. The next point is create a business network in a domain familiar and also unfamiliar to you. So you'll probably start to see this theme that the point of interviewing different people from different walks of life is to expand your horizon. At the same time, you're expanding your business because you're expanding your knowledge. And for us, I really never imagined that we could be doing so much for our clients. We started Feisworld LLC a year after we started the podcast. And the show, served as this crazy marketing engine, drove all these clients to us. I was able to quit my full-time job, and hone in on the skills I was delivering. We started off with just web design, web development, and branding. But as we're going at it, we started our video production service. And now we can claim that we can produce documentaries for other people as well because we've done it for ourselves. We have spreadsheets, we have the daily routines, we know what to do, we know how to schedule these interviews, we know how to set up different environments. So I already spilled out the next point, which is create a business that drives revenue. Because of these authentic connections, people trust you. They're not thinking about, okay, I could go to Upwork or Fiverr, spend $200 to build a website. They want to work with you. They will point out to you, I want to work with Faye or Feisworld. They're willing to spend thousands of dollars more because they want that relationship and they trust your vision because they believe that you as a consultant, as a business, have their best interest in mind. And the last thing I'll say is because of running the podcast, it really doesn't matter, you could be blogging, you could be YouTubing, is that you can transport your ideas in your sleep. Literally, when I wake up in the morning, and I don't do this every morning, every day, once a week, I look at not just the stats of my podcast, but I actually focus on who I'm reaching, the comments I'm getting, the emails I'm getting. I love looking at ranking on Chartable for Feisworld. And it's amazing where all over the place, we're Argentina or in the Philippines. This is how podcasting has really changed my life. And I know it can happen for you as well. Please let me know in the comments below if you find this helpful, if you have any questions that I could help answer, especially if you're just starting out, you feel like you're a little stuck or like, Faye, how come you've been doing this for 5 years? And a lot of people really been podcasting for 6 months to 12 months. In the next video, I will share with you guys the things that people don't tell you about podcasting and being an independent creator in general. The payoff is huge, but you have to be patient enough to wait long enough, not just working hard enough, but you actually need the time. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.